Okay, good morning or good day. Uh, I'm not planning to do a very long one. One, because sometimes I hit and miss. Two, because I haven't. Well, I did stay up at around 7 till, but I'm a bit congested. I want to wake up slowly. I have some things I want to do, um, and also don't want to do a whole lot at the moment. But I was just having some thoughts, so I thought I'd come here and talk about them. Um, um, and then suddenly I go blank. Mind, it's early, but not today still. But one of them was something to do with when you have a counselor, and I haven't started a session yet with the one I just got, and there won't be many with of them because until next year when our coverage whatchamacallit. But there's actually I read some of the bios. There's actually quite a few good ones. So it sounds of it, and one's kind of like us that a musical and uh, into dance and um, just have a lot of similar traits in general. But and familiar with certain disorders and stuff, which I mean, most would be, I would say, especially this day and age. I mean, if they're just a general counselor, then it's what I'm seeing is marriage and family, but apparently also other, which is more what we're looking for. Um, because the thing of the matter is even as a life coach or a counselor, sometimes even more so, especially the more clients you're seeing, you almost need it more. Um, Especially, it's hard to put some things into practice. It may not be that they're terrible concepts or whatever, but it's hard to put them into practice. I'm just wearing a robe. I hadn't planned to do this, like I say, so I just wanted to do a quick one. But yeah, so basically, I don't have to wear these either, but I had to do some laundry. I had a really weird experience happen. I actually almost want to ask about it. I think I was up, for the wasn't being twice through the night. The first time, my shirt and my shorts were damp. I know this is not related to the other stuff at all, but um, so in the middle of the night, I changed them. I had some clothes in the dryer already. At first, I thought just cool, but no, I don't think so. And then that's what she was on. And then, and the sheet wasn't, and that which is the really odd part. So I'm thinking it must have been kind of perspiring or something from the front because, like I say, the first time it was both. The second time it was just it wasn't the top, which is good because I mean this is recently cleaned. I'd hate to feel like it needs to be again already. But yeah, it's yeah, it was weird. Anyway, non-related to that though. Oh yes, and we did get some of this. So I'm going to take this downstairs shortly. We have to look at these things, whatever they are, later. So we just got a viewer tuning in. I'm going to be doing, oh, and a like. Does that mean it's Pat? Now, I mean, I did bring my coffee up, and the dog's only just gotten settled on the couch, so who knows if he'll get up and start rummaging. Um, but, uh, okay, and the person left. But hey, they like, so that's, wish YouTube would show who, like other platforms, which apparently they're somehow, some often kind of connected. I wish it would show who puts them, not just that it has been like this many times, or even with views. I know in groups on Facebook, it used to be, yeah, somebody became an admin of a group recently and capitalized the second word, even though it was just a word. It wasn't something that really needed to be capitalized. Neither of them really did, but I mean, the first one is the first part of the name of the group. But in groups, you can sometimes see it, like in live streams or whatever. But otherwise, it says how many plays it watches or views or whatever, but doesn't say who. It's really odd. Unless it's glitching, but I've never known YouTube to either. It's weird. But hey, God, like, can't complain. Anywho, I am getting a bit warmer. It might be a bit cooler downstairs. But yeah, basically, I don't really. One of my pet peeves would be people that go through the motions or become tainted. You know, I hope I don't have this experience where it's like, oh, it's somebody else's family issues. I have a set of questions for people with those. But are they specific to my situation? I mean, whether I really need to look at it deeply or not, I may or may not know or whatever. But is it specific to my situation? That's the best way to know if they're just going through the motions, I would say. Or is it so it's Glenn. Is it just general? Which isn't bad. And some people don't like how, some counselors all they do is ask questions, write on a pad and let you talk. Some of them's approach is, I think, for you to self-reflect, for you to come up with the answers yourself. It's not a bad method, but just like, in a social life or other areas of life, having the balance, I think it's important to have the balance between that, or at least as best as possible, and making suggestions, which a person can choose to follow or not. I mean, I'm sorry, but I kind of think that it would say something to someone's intelligence if they really felt like, well, I have to do what they say because they said it, you know. Um, and also if they uh, place it on the fact, well, they're the ones that are, a professional or they've got the degree, which is often rightly or wrongly how things are usually connected and looked at. But I mean, I don't know, the statement of you know your own life best. I do and don't agree with it with for myself and other people because there are various things that can make decisions hard. Self doubt is a real thing, and yeah, I mean, yeah, mostly doesn't mean I have all the answers. Doesn't necessarily mean somebody else does either, but it doesn't mean that that we have all the answers. Yeah, and this is a pink shirt, so it almost looks like it's not a shirt, but it is a shirt, and this is just yeah, it's cancer. So yeah, so basically, and I'm very curious to hear what my counselor will think of me when we could first connect because you know I I'm not saying that people that go to counseling aren't smart individuals. In fact, I would say that they're kind of smart to go to counseling if they feel they need it. But what I would say is some people might not be as deep thinkers, might not be as abstract, whatever the word, if that's the word to use sometimes, might not be as outside the box, might not be whatever, which is a blessing and a curse, honestly. Like it can make things, it can help solve things sometimes. It can also kind of make things a bit messier, but you can unmessy them, you know. But yeah, so it's kind of like, um, yeah. So I don't want this one to get too long, and I am. I mean, sure, I could go blow my nose, whatever, but I am starting to feel a little bit congested. I just want to take my morning slow, but yeah. Um, and I don't think the counselor should pretend that they have all the answers or get mad if you don't. I mean, I know when I'm starting out, I had an experience a while back, and it was kind of weird how things transpired afterwards. It's like I was annoyed, but I mean, they weren't a client of mine, but I was in a group with them. I was annoyed, but I also kind of wanted contact with them. The other part I felt mixed about too, but and part of me thinks, oh, just go and take a chance. You know what? I think what I mean, I don't want anything. I worry about letting the dog, but part of me thinks, and I don't like being around bad energy or stupid, and often the two go together, right? But it's kind of like I also don't like being alone as much, and even having 2 appointments a week, possibly 3. It's mostly all focused on myself. I mean, I haven't had counselor in ages, so I don't know. And everybody's different, so I don't know if they're going to kind of talk about themselves a little bit, or relate to things in a personal way. I know on the bio at the bottom of the ones I've read, and probably most of them, they suggest that, I don't know. I guess it's to feel a bit stronger connection. It's to, and I wouldn't mind actually maybe talking about, and it might be a good way of closing some of them without even saying their names or where they work necessarily. Of maybe talking about, different ones and how I connect or see what it says. But at the bottom of each, it says their hobbies or interests. And some of them probably actively do that, even though they work. For others, it would be a struggle, probably, or for people in general, it could be. But yeah, so basically, one thing I'm trying to decide, and unfortunately, we don't have a viewer, and she's oh, we do, we just got one. Welcome. She's the first one I'm talking to next week. I could maybe also mention this tomorrow with a friend in a video call. But if you have any, you left, so I guess you don't. What I was going to say is, like I had to go through this thing and it worked out, and I got somebody that was $20 cheaper because they're a student, and this and that. But our insurance company would only cover coverage with people with certain credentials. In some areas, it really wasn't that specific. Social worker, psychologist. No, I think she said those two, and then with this and that, and I saw them as separate, but I think she meant the same. But luckily, the one I'm getting also works with a supervisor because she's a student, and I guess yeah. One thing I did mention in the email to the admin and said, it's great that the student, is getting work experience and training. Like that's, yeah, since I'm a smidgen jealous, but yeah, basically, there's a part of me that wants to say, and I don't want to be right out the gates with this, and I don't want to offend, but there is definitely a part of me that wants to say, like to me, it didn't matter that much. All that matters to me is, do we gel? And are you a good person? And I would hope if you're in the counseling profession, although maybe not always some are, you would be a good person. Doesn't mean you're going to gel with everybody, but there's lots of options. I have like 24 people there, and I don't know if that's including the 3 students or not, and the 2 or 3 admin people, but and ironically, there's 2 Janices, and neither of them looks that friendly, but one looks a little bit more so. Anyway, point of the matter is that there's a part of me that wants to say, I don't really care what your the letters after your name are about, or what I don't really care for the the letters after, like like as far as like masters, bachelors, whatever, blah 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 blah. It's like, and I think a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would, though. That's the thing. Um, I see it as hoity-toity. I mean, personally, I see it as bragging, like, and maybe that's my own issue. I don't know, but I mean, it's kind of like, in my experiences, in my life, like, I'm going to be getting an opportunity, hopefully, uh, soon, working on a mental health line, and they hire based on lived experiences. And I have done so much learning in my 30s, especially, but in my life in general, and had, I mean, yeah, sure, there are people that have had more experiences and more, And a lot of young people, including myself, have been through a lot. A lot of old people have had fairly decent lives, and vis-a-vis. But the point of the matter is that that's so valuable. It's more relatable. It's. I often feel like somebody who has a counseling degree, they're still being them as a person, though. They're still having their personality. They're still having their. I mean, sure, they might, take certain things from their learnings and use them, but, and they're still giving their matter of opinions, you know. But, like one of the counselors, though, that I read about, she says that she looks at everybody as an individual. I mean, how can you not, in a way, right? But it's kind of like, well, I'd rather that than just, oh, it's just somebody else with family issues, or, oh, it's just somebody else with this issue or that issue. Because even though there might be similarities, people are their own individuals, right? And if somebody doesn't understand that because they're still so stuck in their training modules, it's might work for some, it's not good for others, right? But yeah, I mean, for some people it's hard to get that training, whether it's the cost, whether it's the accessing, because of transportation difficulties, whether it's the environment, all of the above sometimes. Now, the one I am matched with, or that I just ended up choosing, I didn't realize it at the time. I think I realized the one thing, but she also works with people with neurological, including like autism stuff. I guess that isn't necessarily saying that she has it. Just like somebody that was around a certain community, uh, that one said that she in LA or worked with such people, but there was another one that said she's actually in it. But one is just as good as the other as far as that's concerned. As long as somebody has a background, but honestly, I also kind of feel like, again, everybody's an individual and nobody's going to exactly know what it's like for somebody else unless they know or unless they are that person, unless they're told. So, yeah, that's about all I think. I still kept this fairly short. Although I'm surprised I got this long with it. I don't know, but I'm tired. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and don't be shy to comment. My hair's not too crazy. It's morning, and I think I had a hat on, and I've been touching it, but yeah.